It begins not with a bang, but with a loss of pressure. A single, automated pump in a silent control room fails to engage. Out in the field, 1 million nozzles drip their last, and a vast, intricate network of irrigation pipes exhales for the final time. The sound that follows is the defining sound of this new era, the profound silence of machinery. For generations, this land was a battlefield, held in a state of artificial perfection by human will. Now, the battle is over. The only sound is the rustle of leaves, a dry whisper carrying the first premonition of decay. The air, thick with the scent of engineered sweetness, now carries a new note, the smell of sun-baking earth, thirsting for a rain that is no longer scheduled. The age of control has ended. For a human lifetime, this soil knew nothing but chemistry. A precise cocktail of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, delivered on a strict schedule. Herbicides to kill the unwanted, pesticides to kill the unwelcome. Our crops were not grown so much as manufactured, thriving on a system of intensive care. In our absence, they are the first to fall. Without the constant infusion of fertilizers, the soil's profound exhaustion is laid bare. Stripped of its natural microbiome and organic matter, it is little more than a sterile medium. The plants, products of genetic selection that prioritized yield over resilience, have no defense. Their immune systems, long supported by chemical intervention, are overwhelmed. Blights and rusts, once held at bay by fungicides, now sweep through the uniform rows in a devastating wave. The perfect monoculture becomes a perfect vector for disease. The final harvest sags on the stalk, uneaten by us, left to rot and return its meager borrowed nutrients to the depleted earth. The boundaries we drew are the first to fade. Barbed wire rusts and snaps. Wooden posts rot and fall. The grid begins to dissolve. For the first time in a century, the wind and the birds are the primary sowers of this land. They carry the seeds of rebellion: thistle, dandelion, clover, and wild grasses. These are the pioneers, species tough enough to survive in the harshest conditions. Researchers believe their deep taproots are like biological drills, breaking up the compacted plowpan, a dense layer of earth crushed by the weight of heavy machinery. Their presence is the first step in a long process of healing. As they die and decompose, they create the first new layer of humus, reintroducing life into a soil that was nearly dead. The neat, clean lines of the industrial farm blur into a chaotic, messy patchwork of greens and browns. It is not beautiful by our old standards, but it is alive. Each so-called weed is a foothold for a future forest, a promise of what is to come. Decades pass. The direct descendants of our crops still linger, ghosts of the harvest. But they are changing. Locked within their DNA are the genetic memories of their wild ancestors, traits suppressed for millennia through selective breeding. In our absence, natural selection resumes its course, and these ancient echoes begin to re-emerge. Consider the corn. Our modern maize is a biological marvel, bearing massive ears of soft, sugary kernels. It is also utterly dependent on us, unable to effectively reseed itself. Yet, studies suggest that feral populations over generations would begin to revert. The kernels become smaller, harder, and encased in a tough, inedible fruit case. The plant itself begins to resemble its rugged ancestor, teosinte, a wild grass from the highlands of Mexico. It is no longer a source of sustenance for us, but a plant that can survive on its own. Elsewhere, in the ghost of a vegetable farm, a similar transformation occurs. The domestic carrot, Daucus carota, was bred for its singular, vibrant orange taproot. Left to its own devices, its offspring undergo a radical shift in priorities. Survival, not storage, becomes the driving imperative. The taproot pales, shrinks, and forks, becoming tough and woody. The plant instead pours its energy upward, bolting into a tall stalk topped with a delicate, flat spray of white flowers. It has become Queen Anne's lace, its wild form, trading its swollen root for the ability to reproduce and spread its seed on the wind. Two centuries after the last pump fell silent, the landscape is unrecognizable. The farm is gone. In its place stands a mosaic of life. The pioneer plants have been succeeded by shrubs, then fast-growing trees like birch and poplar, which in turn have acted as a nursery for slow-growing hardwoods like oak and maple. The straight lines of human logic have been utterly erased, replaced by the tangled, intricate patterns of a thriving ecosystem. The soil, once nearly sterile, is now dark and rich, laced with miles of fungal networks that connect the roots of the trees in a complex subterranean web. Animal corridors have been re-established. Where combines once rolled, predators now hunt. The air, once filled with the drone of machinery and the scent of chemicals, is now thick with the smell of damp earth and alive with the sound of birdsong. The land has not merely recovered, it has been reborn into something new, something wilder and more complex than what we imposed upon it. We saw the land as a resource to be optimized, a factory floor for food production. We invested immense energy, chemistry, and ingenuity to hold it in a state of suspended animation, a permanent, unnatural peak of productivity. But our system was a fragile bubble, maintained by constant intervention. The story of the abandoned farm is a profound and humbling reminder. It reveals that our dominion over nature is a fleeting negotiation, not a conquest. Beneath the surface of our most orderly creations, the wild, ancient blueprint of life endures, patiently waiting for the silence to fall, ready to reclaim and begin again. This story challenges our perspective. What do you think about humanity's relationship with nature? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video and this deeper look at the world around us, please like it and subscribe to the channel for more content.